When it comes to remodeling and renovating your home, there is no better show on your radio. This is Around the House with Eric G.
Everybody stop what you're doing, please.
From your back fence to the sidewalk, Eric will tell you how to keep it all in tip-top shape while helping you save a buck while doing it. If you like DIY projects, it takes a lot of practice to get good at it, and Eric is here to guide the way.
These are the wrong plans. These are the old plans.
All that and more on the fastest 2 hours of home improvement radio.
Stop it! Stop what you're doing!
Welcome to Around the House with Eric G.
Welcome to Around the House with Eric G. This is the Pro Insider Special. This is where we talk about stuff for the trades. If you are in the residential construction field, maybe interior design, even if you are in sales in the residential building and construction fields, guess what? This show is for you. Now, I wanted to talk today about the golden age of job changes. In my nearly 30 years, probably over 30 years, but I'm going to date myself by saying it, of my career, I have not seen a better time to get into construction, to change jobs in construction, or do a career shift in this industry we have. Right now, across the board, I am not aware of a single company that you couldn't go up to that says, yeah, we're looking for somebody. Across the board. And if you, this is really for you employees out there, you hard-working people out in the field, whether it's in a building selling tile or out there framing a house, this is for you. If you're an employee and you want to further your career, this is the time to have your eyes open and have some conversations. So first off, if I'm going to give you some advice, this is the best time right now to be doing this. Out of the last 30 years, easily. Because if you're good at what you do, there's hundreds of people that want you. So first, I would sit down and figure out for yourself where you want your career path to be going. What's your 1-year plan? What's your 3-year plan? What's your 5-year plan? Where do you want to be in 10, 15, 20 years? What's the path you want? Because you know something? You need a map. You need a map. Before I tell you to go out and start talking to people, create that roadmap. Have your ways of your career. Figure out what it takes to get from point A to point B. If you want to own your own construction company, if you want to own your own design company, if you want to own your own lumber building materials dealership, whatever that is, figure out your career path so you know that you can do the job. So how do you do that? Well, if you're a framer and you want to have your own framing company, you want to manage your team. Work your way up that ladder. Understand every single aspect of the business. Make sure you got that dialed in. Understand it from how to swing that hammer, what you're looking for, how to manage a crew, how are the finances working. All of that stuff, you need to know all that because that education to you is priceless. That is where you want to be. Now, if you want to have, if you're selling tile and you want to start your own tile company or flooring store, awesome. And you're out there designing and selling materials in this location, you got to work your way up the management ladder. You need to be higher up in sales. You need to be sales management, operations management. You need to understand all that stuff and make sure you're in the right position. So have that map, that roadmap to get you from point A to point B. That's the first part of it. And this advice really works with any career, but this is really for the construction trades and design and sales. This is for you guys. So once you've got that figured out, figure out what your path is that you're comfortable with. If you're working for a great company that has opportunity for you, sit down and have this discussion with them. Figure out what you should be getting paid in the marketplace. Are you overpaid for your position compared to others? Are you underpaid? Figure out what the going rate is for your position if you are performing. Now, one of the keys to all this is you better be performing on your A game. Do the hard work. There's no shortcuts here. This is where you do the hard work. So figure out with your position where you stand. Are you in a golden, awesome place to be? Cool. Then have the right conversations. If you are working in a tough environment where you're not appreciated, you don't have the benefits compared to others, you don't, whatever that is, whatever you do, your cost via benefit analysis here is, if you're in the wrong position with the wrong company, right now is the time to change that. Now, if your company is doing okay, which a lot of them are, and you think that you're underpaid by a few dollars, have that conversation with your manager. Discuss it. Sit them down. If business is good, sit them down and say, hey, I don't want to go anywhere else. I really don't. But, I'm paid $2 an hour over what I could make anywhere else. I don't want to have to go out and look for another job. Can we work something out and create a path for me to get where I need to be so I can be controlling my own destiny with that? Figure out what that plan is. If you could figure out what that plan is and negotiate that, because I'll be honest, if you can't negotiate and you don't have the skills to negotiate, then maybe you need to take a step back and figure that out and work on those skills before you go have these conversations. I'll tell you, that is one of the biggest things that I see right now with kids coming up out of school. I mean, I was just watching the news a few minutes ago, and there was a company that said they don't want to hire any Ivy League people out of those Ivy League colleges because they're training those kids coming out of college to have their head down and not question anything. And they're not producing good workers. So make sure that you've got the right skills to communicate. Make sure that you sit down and have that right conversation, because that conversation is key. Now, if that doesn't go well, be prepared for everything to go sideways. My rule for any of these negotiations and discussions, have a plan A, have a plan B, have a plan C. Maybe have done your research who you would go work for. Because let's say maybe you mess this negotiation up. What's the worst thing going to happen? They're going to, I'm cool paying you what you are, and here's the door. Let's say you work for somebody that has no patience and you mishandled the situation. The combination of all bad things happening. There's that risk of you getting shown the door that day. Will it happen? Probably not. There's going to be a lot more drama that probably has occurred if that's the case and you misread the situation. But always have that plan B and that plan C so you know what your next move always is, so you can do it quickly, easily, and without a ton of added stress. Make sure you have that and go out and shop yourself. There's a reason why right now across the country, you know who the number one advertiser is out there on radio, podcasting? It's Indeed. Indeed. It's not Home Depot. It's Indeed. It's not Progressive or one of those other companies. It's Indeed. So go out, build that career, communicate with your boss now if you want to stay a part of that team, create that path, hold your head up high and work hard, and you can do and be whatever you want to be. That's the great thing of this country where we live here in the United States, is that your limitations are yours. So how do you get around those and how do you figure it out? I know so many people that started out just doing, basically ditch digging, and now they own their big firm and they're doing well, and that's something that anybody can do. So don't use excuses. Get out there and get after it. And if you want to change jobs, there is no better time than to do it today. So spend some time, do the research, and good hard work pays off. Get that resume done. Maybe they will want to see that resume when you go talk to your boss. Maybe they're going to want to say, well, I didn't know you had that experience. You saying hold on and grabbing it out of a folder or out of a binder when you're talking to your boss and you've already got a resume built and they don't know what your history is or they've forgotten about it, that's also a powerful statement that you need to be careful in how you use it. But them seeing it on paper and going, uh-oh, they've already thought about looking and they want to keep you, they'll figure it out. Never hold that employer hostage. It always ends up badly. But have a clean, honest discussion about where you want to go and what you're going to do, and it's going to go a lot better for you. Coming up this weekend on Around the House with Eric G, we've got a fun show ahead. Hour number 1, I've got a special guest host. She will be co-hosting with me, America's Healthy Home expert, Caroline Blazowski. She'll be coming in the studio here. This is going to be a lot of fun, testing out some new technology, as well as hour number 2, we're going to be talking with my friends over at RZ Mask. These guys, if you've seen my stuff on More Good Day Oregon, pictures of me wearing a mask while I'm doing home improvement stuff, this is not your typical mask talk. We're going to talk about when you're doing home improvement projects, what you should be doing to protect your lungs and making sure you've got the right thing. Plus, look really cool too. Coming this weekend on Around the House with Eric G. Stay tuned. As always, thanks for listening to Around the House.
Around the House with Eric G. is produced by, designed by Eric G. in association with Salem Media and distributed nationally by the Sun Broadcast Group. All rights reserved. Copyright 2020, designed by Eric G. We will be back next week. If you missed part of the show, check out the podcast of all of our shows at AroundTheHouseOnline.com. Remember, measure with a micrometer, mark with caulk, and cut with an axe. Thanks for listening to Around the House.